All right, let's get started. So in this video, we're going to set up our Firebase project and then fire off a sort of basic hello world HTTP function. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is set up a Google Cloud Platform account. I already have one set up, but if you don't have an account, you're going to need to do that by going to cloud.google.com. The next thing you're going to want to do is, well, once you're logged in, the next thing you want to do is create a Firebase project. Okay, so head over to this URL, console.firebase.google.com, and create a Firebase project. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. You can see it's already finding Google Cloud specific projects, but I want to create a dedicated project for my newsletter app. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say newsletter app. There we go, and continue. I personally don't want to use Google Analytics, but if you want to, by all means, be my guest. So I'm going to go and create the project and just wait it out. Actually, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and create a dedicated folder for this project. So I'm going to type make directory, and I'm going to call it newsletter app. And let's see, are we close? All right, so really quickly, I'm just going to change into this directory. I'm going to tab back here, and there we go. Okay, so this is the dashboard for Firebase. Firebase has a whole bunch of features such as authentication, storage, two kinds of storage actually, and then functions. So for our tutorial, I'm only going to be using functions, and we need to set up billing in order to do that. In order to set up billing, I'm going to head over to Google Cloud Platform and search the new project. So newsletter should be available here now. There we go. From there, I'm going to head over to the billing sidebar. So I clicked on the hamburger menu, and then I clicked on billing. I already added my credit card to this project, to the whole account. Now I need to link that credit card to this specific newsletter app. So I'm going to do that. And there we go. Now my project has billing set up, and we're ready to go. So the next thing we want to do is start setting up the different folders and all that stuff. The best way to do that is by utilizing the Firebase CLI. So if you don't already have Firebase installed, so I have a Z shell shortcut or a Z shell feature that tells me if a binary exists or not. So if a binary exists in my system or an executable, it's green. But if you don't have the Firebase executable globally available in your machine, you're going to want to install it using npm. So what you do is you type npm install -g Firebase tools. So once you run that, you will have the Firebase CLI available to you. Okay. And the other thing you're going to want to do is you want to type login. So once you log in, you're going to be able to connect to your various Firebase apps, basically. And for mine, I'm going to be using this newsletter app when I do anything CLI specific. So once you have this Firebase executable ready to go, we are going to, let's see here, we're going to call, where is it? Firebase init functions. Okay, so rather than me creating all these different folders and setting up the project by hand, the Firebase CLI has a really helpful utility script here basically to help us do that. So I'm going to press enter. And there we go. The first question is, which project do I want to use? I'm going to use an existing project. There we go. There's only one Firebase project, which is the one that we just made. So I'm going to type that in, newsletter app. And because this is a TypeScript tutorial or a TypeScript series, I'm going to select TypeScript as the language. I am going to set up ESLint, but I won't be using it anytime soon, really. And with that done, we're going to install dependencies. So now we just wait. Okay, beautiful. One other thing I want to do is, let's see, do I have Git files? Okay, I do. I already have gitignore available to me. So in the gitignore, I want to add, let's see, do I already have Firebase, or what is it, functions? Yeah, I don't have it. So that's what I'm going to add. I'm going to add the output of the TypeScript compilation as a file that I want to ignore. So let's add this here. So I'm going to add a new line here to my gitignore that says compiled output for Firebase functions. And I'm going to say functions lib. Okay. The reason I'm saying this is because if I look at my tsconfig file, you're going to see that the output directory is lib. So I don't care about committing that to my source code or to my repo or whatever. So let me clear there. And then lastly, I'm going to actually initialize my project for Git so that you can clone it, check out the different tags. So I'm going to be tagging every different sort of section of the video. So there's going to be like a video 1 tag, video 2 tag, video 3 tag, so that you can keep up with the project if you're not coding along. So with that said, I'm going to type git init to initialize the project. And let's see, if I run tree and ignore node modules, I should see something like this, or you should too. There's going to be a firebase.json file that has some configuration, and there's going to be the functions project itself. So we're going to have the package stuff, and then this is the actual source code, and then this is TypeScript compiler options. So the next thing I can do is I can cd into the functions project, functions, and I can start running an emulator. So one of the nice things with Firebase is that it comes with this emulator to emulate the entire functions ecosystem in your machine. So that's what I'm going to run. I'm going to run the serve command, npm run serve, and it should open up a port to a visual interface. Oh, I see. Let me open index here. So we're already getting some nice help from TypeScript. There we go. Now this should work. So I just commented out the code that was generated by the Firebase CLI. And this is going to help us do a GET request and send back a hello from Firebase to the consumer of the API. So let me run this again. npm run serve. So assuming all things work as expected, we're going to see this UI available to us. Okay, so I'm going to copy this URL and open it here. And this is sort of like a nice visual interface for you to be able to read through logs. Although the logs will also be available to you here in standard out in your terminal. So you just have some options, and it's an FYI for you. The other thing is the hello world function that we exported is a endpoint. So if I go back to the file itself, you'll see that we exported a variable called hello world, and that variable determines the different functions that we have at our disposal. So this represents a single Firebase function. Okay, so we've tried that out. Let's see. Or I don't think we have actually tried it out. So let me open this in the browser There you go. This again was what was written here, response.send. But being the fancy schmancy developers that we are, I'm not going to be using the browser to do any sort of interaction with the backend. I'm going to be using a program called Postman. Postman, for those who are not aware, is like curl or curl, but a graphical user interface on top of it. That allows me to create requests, so I can paste here that same URL that we had in the browser. I can also specify all the different HTTP methods. In this case, again, I'm just going to do get, and I should get the exact same response back that we saw in the browser. So from here on out, I'm only going to be using Postman to interact with Firebase functions. Is there anything else I am missing? Nope, I think that's it. So I'll see you in the next video where we set up the Mailgun API. And is there anything else? Environment variables. See you later.